Modern technological developments make it possible to improve human abilities. Technologies such as augmented reality, exoskeletons, or AI enable humans to have an increased perception, better motor skills, or even enhanced cognition. And this is what we call human augmentation, the use of digital technologies to enhance human performance and human capabilities. Yet, when it comes to human augmentation technologies, researchers have prioritized technology development over the impact that these technologies will have on society. This is important because augmentation technologies create a new paradigm, because they change the balance between people who are technologically augmented and people who are not. This is why my co-authors and I wanted to fill this gap and share our findings with you in this video. My name is Steeven and I'm going to present you the paper Understanding Perceptions of Human Augmentation, a Mixed Method Study. We wanted to create an understanding of the social perceptions of human augmentations users in this work, so we focus on three primary research questions. First, which factors influence the perception of augmented humans? Then, how do augmentation types impact how augmented humans are perceived? And finally, does the presence or absence of a disability affect how augmented humans are perceived? We concentrated our investigations on 4 countries from 3 different continents in order to have a diverse sample. Specifically, we include Colombia, the US, Germany, Japan in this study. In terms of structure, we divided this research into 2 major steps. First, an exploration via an interview study with participants from these 4 countries. And second, a consolidation study via an online survey. We invited 4 participants from each country to take part in the interview study. From the total sample, half of the participants identified as male and the other half as female. Our participants had industrial and academic backgrounds. We conducted semi-structured interviews in the participants' native language using 3 different vignettes, each one depicting a different type of augmentation. We recorded the interviews, which were then transcribed and translated by professionals and proficient in each language. And following that, we conducted a thematic analysis to investigate the major themes that emerged from these interviews. We discovered 6 major factors influencing the perception of augmented humans as a result of this analysis. The first factor, which we call Peril, reflects how dangerous an augmented human is perceived to be. The second factor, that we call Privacy, is the extent to which a person's use of an augmentation is perceived to violate other people's privacy. Then there is the factor Access, which addresses who should have access to this type of human augmentation technologies and whether or not these technologies should be regulated. This brings us to the fourth factor, that is Motivation, and refers to the technology's users' perceived motivation. This factor ranges from personal motivation to social motivation. The fifth factor is Achievements and describes how people value an augmented human's accomplishments. And this is related to how much people attribute the person's achievement to the user or to the technology. Finally, the last factor is the augmented human's perceived ownership, which is how much an individual is perceived to be a human or a machine, depending on the augmentations used. Having identified these major factors, we wanted to investigate the impact of augmentation type and disability condition on people's perception of augmented humans. So we conducted an online survey that included these factors. We created items for each factor, as well as a personal preference assessment to determine whether or not our respondents wanted an augmentation for themselves. We again recruited participants from these 4 countries, but this time we recruit participants from every country using this novel method and sending mails to universities on all these countries. A total of 504 respondents were included in the sample, with 246 identifying as male, 4 as non-binary, and 256 as female. In our survey, we asked participants to imagine themselves in an interaction with an augmented human. We developed these scenarios based on the type of augmentation and the hypothetical augmented human's disability or non-disability condition. As a result, we had a total of 6 combinations. Therefore, 6 vignettes were distributed. With this survey, we discovered that people react differently to different types of augmentations. For example, while our respondents were generally positive about the 3 types of augmentation, cognitive augmentations were rated as a greater threat than motor augmentations, for example. Indeed, in terms of privacy and danger, motor augmentations were considered to be the least dangerous, and on the other hand, they elicit the fewest negative emotions and behaviors. Finally, when it comes to privacy, sensory augmentation seems to be viewed as less favorable. In terms of how presence or absence of disabilities affect how augmented humans are perceived, we discover a strong trend of respondents having more positive judgments toward augmented humans who had a disability condition. And this was true for all types of augmentation in all 6 major factors. In conclusion, this study is the first to analyze the psychosocial aspects of human augmentation technologies and to provide design guidelines for such technologies. The manuscript contains additional insights and details on topics such as the cross-cultural aspect of human augmentation or the influence of the country of origin in the perception of augmentation technologies. If you are interested in this topic or the findings reported in here, don't hesitate in contacting us. Have a great day.